Hello everyone, the video cut out during DAF 68B, so I'm going to continue. Well, it is obvious that the Bryce is dealing with events that occurred after the owner's despair, and yet the only reason that he does not pay the fourfold to fivefold payment is that he consecrated the animal on the ground that when he slaughtered consecrated property. But if he did not consecrate the animal before he slaughtered it, he would pay the fourfold or fivefold payment. And if it entered your mind that the owner's despair serves to acquire the animal for the thief, why would he have to pay? At that point, it is his own animal, and he slaughters or his own animal that he sells. Ritaka said to Rabbi Yochanan, with what are we dealing here? The bright is referring to a case that occurred before the owner's despair, and it is not the thief who consecrated the animal, as he cannot do so. Rather, we are dealing with a case where the owner consecrated the animal while it was in the thief's possession. The Gemara asks, and is the animal consecrated in the situation? But then Rabbi Yochanan say, if one stole an item, and the owner has not yet despaired of recovering it, neither of them is able to consecrate it. If one stole an item and the owner has not yet despaired of recovering it, the owner cannot consecrate it because it is not in his possession, and the thief cannot consecrate it because it does not belong to him. I'm say for 6:24. This one, the thief cannot consecrate the item because it does not belong to him, and then the owner cannot consecrate it because it is not in his possession. The sages state an answer on behalf of Reish Lakish. He stated his opinion according to the opinion of the pious ones, the Sinuin. Although the primary meaning of the root Sadi Nun Ayin is to be modest or hidden from sight, and people who act modestly are called Sinuin. Apparently, in this context, the use of the term is influenced by the Aramaic meaning of the same root, which denotes a possession of wisdom and understanding. Consequently, the reference is to individuals who are exceptional in their wisdom or fear of God, who acted not in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. As we learn in a mission in Master Sheni 5:1, the pious ones would set aside some coins with regard to the fourth year fruits. During the sabbatical year, when it's permitted for everyone to take fruits from trees, the tree should be demarcated so that people will know that its fourth year fruit requires redemption. The pious one would set aside coins and say, anything that was picked from this vine by passers-by shall be consecrated unto these coins. I'm say for Zerayim Hilchot Master Sheni V'Neta Ravai 9:7, and say, anything that was picked from this vine by passers-by shall be sacralized unto these coins. The mission is referring to a grapevine in its fourth year after planting. The grapes on this vine must be either eaten in Jerusalem or doing its money then taken to Jerusalem and spent on food. The fruit may not be eaten outside Jerusalem without being redeemed. The pious ones were concerned that a passerby might help himself to some of their grapes and thereby aggressing a prohibition. Therefore, they would redeem any of their grapes that might be picked and eaten by passers-by. Evidently, these pious ones were of the opinion that the owner of a stolen item can redeem it despite the fact it is no longer in his possession. Likewise, they would say, contrary to the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan, that an owner of a stolen item can consecrate it even though it is no longer in his possession. The Gemara asks a question regarding the explanation of the Braita, that it is discussing a case where the owner of the animal consecrated it after it was stolen, but the principal amount, i.e. the stolen animal itself, has to return to the owner. By consecrating the animal, the owner has exercised his ownership of it, and it is therefore considered to be returned to him at that point. The thief should therefore not be required to pay the double payment, as the thief is liable for double payment only when the stolen item is in his possession at the time of the trial. As it states, the thief shall be found in his hand, Exodus 22:3. The Gemara answers, the Braita is discussing a case where the thief stood in judgment and was found guilty of theft because for the owner consecrated the animal. Consequently, the liability to pay the double payment preceded the owner's consecration of his property. The Gemara raises a difficulty with regard to this answer. What are the circumstances of this trial of the thief? If it refers to a situation where the members of the court say to him, go out and give the animal back to its owner, why does the Braita say that the thief is exempt from the fourfold or fivefold payment specifically because the owner consecrated the animal before it was slaughtered? Even if he did not consecrate it, the thief should also not be liable to pay the fourfold or fivefold payment. The Gemara elaborates, as Rava says, if the court tells a thief, go out and give the stolen animal back to the owner, once the court issued a definitive ruling, the animal is considered to be no more than a deposit the owner has given to the thief for safeguarding, and therefore he is deemed responsible for it to derive it. If the thief stands trial and the judges rule that he must return what he stole, and he subsequently slaughters or sells the animal is exempt from the fourfold or fivefold payment. Rambam Sefer Nazik and Hilchot Geneva 2:15. And instead, the thief slaughtered or sold it. He's exempt from the fourfold or fivefold payment. What is the reason for this? Since the court issued a definitive ruling in this matter, and he later slaughtered or sold the animal, he is considered a robber, and a robber does not pay the fourfold or fivefold payment. The difference between a thief, concerning whom the Torah prescribes the double payment and the fourfold or fivefold payment, and a robber who does not incur these obligations, is that a thief acts stealthily, whereas a robber bravely uses force to take an item from its owner. Once the court has obligated the thief to make restitution, and he has defied this sentence, he is considered a robber, and therefore the fourfold or fivefold payment and its atonement are not applicable to him. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best. Bye.